Knock, 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 new episode!
Knock on your door of your YouTube subscription boxes. Yeah, we're knocking down doors and showing you the videos. That you need to know about the videos.
Yeah.
What rhymes with videos.
I don't know,
yo.
but we should go onto the episode.
A knock, 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 knock. Here we go.
Ben, you gotta think, when you're doing like rap kind of stuff,
Yeah?
you don't just think with what rhymes at the end of words. You gotta do some internal rhymes.
I would, but I can't even get the end bit right.
But you,
so...
like video, go, episode.
Episode?
Yeah.
No, that doesn't work.
Yes,
Episode
it does.
doesn't work.
Yes, it does. It's an internal
We're in the
rhyme.
video on the episode. No.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Sold.
It's
No, that's not an
You
appropriate
match-
rap. We're in the third part of our
Clearly-
cycle. I just want to make this very clear. We're in the
clearly-
third part. We had the hype episode. We had the tired. We're in the tired bit now. I don't remember
Okay,
what the
but
second bit was.
seriously, Ben.
What?
internal rhyme is the way to go.
Okay.
It's not that video rhymes with episode, it's that both of them have that O sound so that you can slot them together. And it creates a good flow. Ben, you need to just go listen to some more hip hop, man.
Apparently, I haven't read enough hip hop. I've been listening to too much fucking anime soundtrack. It's amazing.
Apparently so.
Smile Soiree. Shout out. Shout out to my girl Erica and her soundtrack shit.
Knock, knock, knock.
Yeah, what they said.
Also, for the record, I'm terrible at freestyle rap.
Thank you. The sudden sound of someone banging fiercely on the door brought everyone to their senses, I think. Including Nazi. She had probably noted off in the study while planning how they would overcome the next day. But what could it be? At a time like this? More importantly, the knock itself was strange. If someone wanted to contact her, they could have just used the internal phone line. She told them that she'd be here. Realizing that something strange was going on, Nazi shook her head one more time, completely throwing off her drowsiness.
Father, it's Ava. I have an urgent vital matter to discuss with you.
Of course, because she's in the study. It was Ava's voice. What is this? I thought I told them to lock the doors and windows of the mansion tightly after everyone left for the guest house. So why is Ava here? Nazi ran up to the door, responded with a small knock, and spoke through the door in a quiet voice. What is it? You're too noisy.
Natsuine-san, why are you in Father's study at this hour?
I told you to be quiet. Have you forgotten that the head values peace and science more than anything else?
Now's not the time to be saying that. Stop harping on that and open up quickly. Bring Father out.
The head just went to sleep. I don't know what business you have, but I will deal with it tomorrow.
I don't have any business with you. Just open up right now.
Sometimes multiple schemes and assumptions can fall apart due to the most direct, simple, and emotional strategies. This is bad. If I open up the door, Ava will probably throw herself forwards and rush into the study. Now I can't even open this door. At that moment, the phone suddenly rang. It's okay. Both of the keys to the study are here. No one can open this door. Nazi inched away from the door and grabbed the receiver. Hello, it's Nazi.
I assume
I think it's
Kraus.
Kraus, yeah.
Yeah. It's me. Things are bad. I want you to come down to the parlor quickly.
It was from Kraus. His tone was strained. What in the world happened?
It seemed that Battlecon and this guest called Erica solved the witch's epitaph and found the gold.
Huh? Is that true?
Rudolph and the rest have forced their way in. They're saying Battlecon will show everyone the way to the hidden gold.
Right now, Ava's son is just outside the study door, yelling to me to open it. But if I do that now, she might push away inside.
I understand. I will go there too. Don't worry about Ava. Just stay there and don't do anything. I'll give you a signal once I've gotten Ava away from the door, so leave as soon as you hear that. Ready?
A flawless plan. Right after that, Kraus came up the staircase, accompanied by Genji. A heated debate started between him and Ava.
Open up. Open up! No, calm down.
In the middle of that, there was a small knock as a signal. Kraus had cleverly pushed Ava away from the door and distracted her. During that gap, Nazi slipped out of the study and quickly shut the door. Ava noticed this and her face twisted in disappointment, but the heavy sound of the auto lock had already rung out and the door had been sealed.
The gold of the epitaph has been found. It's only natural that we should inform Father about this. Or else what? Is there some reason you can't tell Father about this? Father gave strict orders he not be awakened no matter what after he went to bed. Following these orders is the duty of the head's representative. Isn't that right, Genji-san?
Yes, the master's sleep must not be disturbed, no matter what happens.
Even like that depends on time and circumstances, doesn't it? I mean, the epitaph was solved. Father has a right to know straight away.
Of course, the two of us will report on everything to the head tomorrow. That's our duty as the head's representatives.
I don't care about that. Come on, just open this door. Let me see Father. Father, can you hear me? It's Ava. Please, open up.
Yikes.
Oh, let go of me. That hurts. We're telling you to listen to us. Don't knock on the door so loudly. Ow, ow, ow. Let go of me.
Growl-sama, Ava-sama, the master is sleeping. Please refrain from disturbing him any further. When Genji spoke firmly, the two finally ceased their scuffle. It seemed that Genji, the one who had spoken for Kinzo since they were very young, still possessed an air of dignity strong enough to handle both Kraus and Ava. Ava put her argument aside for the time being. She could hold off worrying about that until after she saw the gold with her own eyes. After all, not even Ava had seen it for herself yet. Natsu and the others had managed to somehow deal with the momentary crisis. However, the move of the demons that would sneer upon their efforts had already begun. Battler solved the riddle of the epitaph, you say?
Yes. Though we had a lot of help from that Erica girl, Battler was the one who reached the answer. Erica has proclaimed that she will abandon her rights to the Golden Land. Therefore, the one who reached the Golden Land is Battler.
Fate can be truly amusing. To think that Battler-sama would make it there. What will you do, Beato? You promised to stop the ceremony if anyone solved the epitaph's riddle.
Yes, that was the deal.
That was the deal, indeed. Apparently, Battler-sama does not intend to become the master of the Golden Land. It now seems that no one will become our master. That is also fate. It has been several decades since we first manifested in the human world through our bond with the Lord Goldsmith. The time since then has been so very fun.
Come on, Leah, you sound like an old lady. So, what are we gonna do? If we go by Reach-Chain Goldsmith's rules, now the Battler solved the epitaph and decided not to become our master, we've been relieved from duty, right? That's true. I have no regrets at all. I've been prepared to kick down Cocytus all this time, whatever that is.
I don't know what that is. Wait. We can't let that happen. You might not have any regrets, but I will keep on serving Nazi. It would be quite irresponsible to let ourselves be relieved from duty just because Battler solved the epitaph. Witches are forbidden from breaking contracts, but they must also not fail to show gratitude. 2. We should serve her until the family conference ends. In that case, you won't be relieved from duty for a while either, Lord Goldsmith. Perhaps you should wait until you've overcome this family conference safely, say goodbye to Natsu-sama at the very least, and if possible, rewarded her for all her efforts.
Indeed. She has done well supporting my foolish son.
Nice. You're a fallen angel with one of its wings plucked off, aren't you? Just leave the other wing as a parting gift and go.
Haha, indeed. Perhaps that would be fitting. Natsu may be worthy of bearing my wing. However, we are approaching the critical moment. Your reward is waiting for you. Try to make it through this test unscathed, Natsuhi.
Damn. What crazy shit going on.
What test?
What do you mean, what test?
What test?
What? The fact that everyone's like, let us in to say Kenzaro, and she's like, no, don't go in. He's totally sleeping. That test.
I don't know.
That's the test. The mountain of gold left everyone speechless. Regardless of how strongly they had believed in its existence, no one could look at this much real gold, and not be shocked. To think a place like this existed!
I can't believe it. That Dad...
Everyone was stunned by the gold. The first one to break the silence and jump around in ecstasy was Hideyoshi. But he had an excited laugh, he clung to the wall of gold, then he felt the cold, hard touch of it all over his cheek. This is incredible! It's the real thing! Rudolph, maybe? I thought it would be Ava, but I'll give it a shot.
Would Ava say damn?
It's true. She would not say damn. A damn dad of ours seeking this much gold in such a ridiculous place. Now that we have this much, we no longer have anything to fear. With this much, we can overcome any kind of trial. Rosa! Definitely Ava.
Mason!
Definitely, well, it's okay.
We'll be able to find happiness with this, right? Point to Ryuk's.
It's whatever. Everyone rose and moved towards each other at the same time and hugged as they broke down crying. Ecstasy and shock, wonder and sighs. After stepping forward in front of the pile of gold that had caused these mixed emotions, Erica spoke as though she were an announcer in some show. If this world is money, then this gold is the embodiment of happiness. Congratulations, everyone. I pray that this discovery makes all of your lives richer. I take my hat off to you. To think you'd solve the epitaph within a single day of coming to this island. If you couldn't solve it in a single day, then you wouldn't be able to solve it no matter how many days you had. After all, it doesn't take more than an instant for your little grey cells to give you a flash of intuition. Also, I wouldn't have been able to solve this riddle myself. I ask that you praise Batlasan's achievement as well, everyone. I abandoned any rights to this discovery. I'm already satisfied to have my reasoning proven correct. So, I'd like to give Batlasan full credit. I may be here, but please, continue the discussion as though I wasn't. Batlasan called all of the adults here, making sure that none of the cousins would notice. That can only mean one thing. He must have wanted to become the true family commons with all of you.
Erica, quit deciding things on your own.
My apologies. In that case, I'll step down as facilitator of the proceedings. So, who will take my place? Shrugging, Erica looked around at everyone. After a short period of silence, Ava made the first move.
None of us have forgotten the deal we made earlier today, right?
Yeah, the vibe between the four of us with 2.5 billion for each, and then the successor gets another 10 billion. Well, wait a second. Who decided that the one who discovers the gold becomes the successor? Hold up, you won't be able to get away with that, Nazi-san. We've all been arguing based on that premise this whole time, haven't we? You really think you could pretend that never happened now?
That's right. We weren't... Weren't you the one worrying about how if one of the servants solved the riddle, they might consider themselves the successor? But nowhere is it explicitly written that that's the truth, right? You bastard, we were all aware of it, weren't we?
Ooh, that's right, Aniki. You gonna change your position this late in the game? Though it was never stipulated, I believe it was common knowledge between us. I don't see how you can suggest we know it completely. You can't just interpret the head's epitaph however you like. Where is it written that the one who finds the gold becomes the successor? The epitaph was decided upon by the head. You have no right to decide these things for yourselves. Hanging her own noose.
Right?
Her neck right
this
there.
This is like the worst play she can make.
No, Nazi, why are you so bad?
Calm down, Nazi.
Girl sees it. No. How could I calm down? Yes, I do find it quite impressive that Baloo can solve the epitaph. I certainly believe he should be rewarded for it. However, it's clearly a stretch to suggest that he deserves half of everything, and he won't get away with the argument that the discoverer becomes a successor.
That's low, Natsune-san. This is completely different from what you were saying earlier today.
I agree, although it was never stipulated the fact that whoever solves the epitaph becomes the successor has always been the greatest unwritten rule we've had. It's not fair if you start complaining about that last second, right? Yeah, it isn't fair. Anyway, this gold is Father's. We can't decide how it will be split up without Father's permission. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Just keep digging that hole. No way! That's Lunacy-san. We were talking about this on and on earlier, right? You were saying that whole conversation there was a bunch of bull? Just say it right. Of course, what's brilliant about this is that everybody knows! Everybody knows!
I know, right?
Fuck!
Why don't we just vote on it? Battlecon, the one who found the gold, is the successor. My husband and I have no objections. What about you, Rudolph and Kyrie-san? Rosa?
No objections here, nice going, Bella.
I have no objections either. Battlecon is the true successor chosen by the epitaph. If you aren't satisfied, then why don't we just ask Father directly?
No! That's right. Like you just said, Natsune-san, Father is the one who wrote the riddle of the epitaph, and he's also the proper owner of this gold. In that case, shouldn't we talk to Father about this directly?
Oh, right. Part of their condition was that if there was any foul play involving Father, they'd lose...
Yeah.
I'd forgotten about that stipulation.
Yep. How should Battlecon, the person who discovered the gold, be treated? I believe Father is the only one capable of making such a decision. But...
Didn't I tell you to calm down? Rosa and Kyrie-san are right. Let's ask Father. Your turn is already over, Nissan. Natsune-san.
Damn. Yeah, bring Father out to us. Don't get anywhere with just you two. Let's begin the real family conference. This looks like something we can put off just because he's tired. If we take this thing lightly, we'll have a massive problem in our hands. Hey, are you listening? We won't get anywhere with just you. Bring Father out here right now. A family conference is always like this.
How the hell did I know?
They're probably always like this on the inside. Looks like they won't be able to get this figured out right now without Kinzo-san. To think he's being called out to settle this children's fight, even though it's been announced that he has only a short while to live. I wonder how he feels right about now. Imagining that, no, reasoning that out would be a treat. The parents ignored Battler and Erica and kept yelling at each other on and on. Even though Battler had more or less imagined that this sort of thing happened behind the scenes, this was the first time he'd seen it. He'd suspected it since 6 years ago, and he'd been able to get a pretty good idea of what this was like, by the darkening expressions on his parents' faces when this time of year drew near. However, this argument his relatives were having before his very eyes was much more ugly than he'd imagined. That's why he was very glad that he'd called the adults out here without letting the cousins catch wind of anything. It's a big mess.
Big mess.
Big gold mess. Perhaps because everyone was tired out from the seemingly endless argument.
Endless.
And they took a short break. It was decided this family conference inside the Golden Land should be moved over to the mansion. This place may have been gorgeous, like a VIP room, but there was no heating and it was a little cold. It wasn't well suited for a long conversation. They thought of the possibility that someone might snatch the gold away while their backs were turned, but of course no one could manage much with just human hands and a small amount of time when it's 10 tons of gold they're dealing with. In fact, it might be said that having this amount of gold in the background was actually robbing them of the ability to make sound decisions. So they guaranteed to return to the mansion, in part so that they could regain their composure. Are you okay?
Guaranteed to return to the mansion?
Yes. Wait, did I say guaranteed?
You did.
You know what? They guaranteed. They are guaranteed to return to the mansion. In part,
I think you need to go to bed.
No, it's fine. In part so they can regain their composure and continue the conference more cold-bloodedly. Paying attention, it's fine. I can make it through this episode, I swear. I'm not drunk, officer. I can stop when I feel like it. Then, if you would excuse me for the night, I imagine I'd just get in the way if I remained any longer. Sure, sorry. Do we bother you too much?
Let's show our gratitude again tomorrow. Sorry for letting you see such an embarrassing side of us. You said that you refused, but allow us to prepare a fitting portion out of gratitude for you as one of the first to discover the gold. Right, Nissan? Yes. We know that what you're capable of. I think you can grasp our current circumstances.
20 billion yen in gold isn't something they wanted out in the open. They didn't want an outsider like Erica telling people about it. Of course, Erica had already reasoned out that much. She wore an unpleasant smile on her face as though she understood all too well. You don't need to worry about me, of course. I have no desire to tell anyone else about this. And if I did, no one would believe me without proof. I got to see something interesting tonight. It was quite a spectacle, so I'm more than satisfied.
I see. I guess it's not every day you see 10 tons of gold.
Seeing the gold was a spectacle? Of course not. Judging by Erica's dark nature, it's obvious what she's so happy about.
I thought about just telling her to go away, but even I wanted to get out of this place. Tried to head back to the guest house along with Erica, however, Kyrie-san grabbed my shoulder.
You can't go, Battler-kun. Please come with us. Yes, yes. You're now a real successor. You've got to have an audience with Father and have him acknowledge you right away. That's something only the founding head may decide. Don't make things up on your own.
Digging in a grave for myself.
That's it, I love you. Please, be better. Battler, I realize it'll be a pain, but stick around with us for a bit longer. Don't say anything. Just stay quiet and keep your head down. Got it?
Just do whatever you want. Would have been too easy to say I had no interest in being the successor. But I was sure that I would only add more oil to the fire. Even if I hadn't been ordered to keep quiet, staying shut up like calm was certainly a good idea. Like a clam.
Like a calm? You're doing it too! I'm not the only one who's messing up!
I swapped 2 letters. You added
like 5 or
3
so. Letters. No, agreed to guarantee is only 3 letters. They are strange letters, but it's fine.
It's definitely not the only time I've messed up. I'll concede that. We both need some sleep.
We both have messed up. It's fine. we both suck at this.
But we have to make fun of each other, otherwise nothing happens.
It's true. There's no comedy otherwise.
In that case, would it really be so bad if they just let me go back to the guest house? Dad put his arms firmly around my shoulder, and I told him it was uncomfortable and to let go. However, he didn't pay attention to a word I said.
Damn.
Wow. Poor Battler. Solved the epitaph just like you wanted. When you were the game master, we'd always get those letters. Try and solve the epitaph. If you don't, I'll kill you all. Why'd she want us to solve the riddle of the epitaph anyway? By solving it, we found a mountain of gold. Yippee for us. What about Beto? Did she gain anything by having us find the gold? Or did she lose something? As far as the chessboard thinking tells us, people don't ever make moves that cause them to lose something. It means you must have something to gain by having us solve the epitaph.
No. His child has nothing to gain from having someone solve the epitaph.
You sure that's okay? Using red like that without her permission?
His child most likely wishes for it.
Vigilia, who'd suddenly appeared there, quickly gave an answer to my question with the red truth. In the past, I sometimes guessed that Beto tried to make us solve the epitaph because she wanted to make us find the gold's hiding place for her so she could snatch it away. Is that wrong too?
Yes. In the first place, the gold of the Golden Land belongs to his child. She had absolutely no need to make someone find it for her or to snatch it away herself.
Of course. Beto is Beatrice the Golden. Isn't she the master of the Golden Land and the Ashurmia family alchemists? Totally makes sense. However, that makes me even more confused. Even if someone exposed the answer to the epitaph's riddle, Beto has nothing to gain. No, the contrary, her own gold might be stolen away. In that case, I'm understanding this less and less. Understand the epitaph murders. It might be revenge against the Ashurmia family, or else a ceremony to revive her powers as a witch. After all, she's probably doing it because of some reason or goal of her own. What's the point of her telling us to solve the epitaph? Whether we solve it or not, she has nothing to gain at all. In other words, the whole issue of whether the epitaph is solved or not is immaterial in Beato's eyes.
You're right. Whether the epitaph's riddle is solved or not, this child stands nothing to gain at all.
Doesn't matter whether it's solved or not. In other words, could we say that the epitaph's riddle itself is immaterial to Beato?
You're right. The epitaph's riddle does not have any meaning for this child. So even if you take it to extreme and call the epitaph's riddle immaterial, it may not be possible to argue against your claim.
Beato, why are you making us solve the epitaph's riddle? If you liken the witch you are to a pair of scales, the epitaph murders lie on one plate, and the riddle of the epitaph lies on the other plate. After all, she's saying she'll stop the epitaph murders if the epitaph is solved. In other words, the epitaph murders and the epitaph's riddle are worth the same to Beato, like two sides of a balanced scale. That means that both the epitaph's riddle and massacring all of the relatives are equally significant from Beato's point of view. But Vigilia responded with the red truth. Regardless of whether the epitaph is solved or not, Beato has nothing to gain. If she has nothing to gain, then this epitaph's riddle is meaningless and immaterial to Beato. In that case, how much are the epitaph murders which lie on the other side of the scale and are equal to the witch's epitaph in value worth to her? Think, don't stop thinking. The epitaph murders and solving the riddle on the epitaph have equal worth. As long as the epitaph murders, which are Beato's goal each time, have the single way that they can be stopped, a way that she decided on herself, both are worth the same thing to her. X equals Y, and whether the epitaph riddle is solved or not, Beato has nothing to gain. Y equals 0. So in this case, what is X? Also 0.
Thank you.
Wait a sec. That means the epitaph murders are also meaningless and immaterial. Every time she performs these bizarre serial murders, she's willing to spend an incredible amount of effort to politely send advance notice, and then kills us one by one in accordance with the epitaph, never getting exposed. So all of that is meaningless to her? Spun the chessboard around and searched through Beato's moves over and over. This is always the first place I stumble. The significance of the epitaph murders. Why did she have to commit serial murders in a way that reproduced the witch's epitaph? If she wanted to kill the whole Ashurmia family for revenge, it'd be much simpler, safer, and more reliable if she just put poison into their dinner, or else went around killing people one by one in the middle of the night while they were sleeping. However, on the first evening, Beato sent us a letter that sounded like an advance notice, and then carried out a 3-part serial murder with large gaps in between. The 6 people of the first twilight, the 2 people of the second twilight, and the 5 people of the fourth and later twilights. We aren't fools. Once the first murders occur, we barricade ourselves in somewhere to stave off any further murders. Furthermore, we quickly suspect a culprit among us and start analyzing each other's alibis. As the victims increase, the number of suspects decreases automatically, and Beato's chances of success in the serial murder drop closer and closer to 0. While the epitaph murders like she's strangling her own neck, making it harder to succeed in the serial murder she's attempting. All for useless embellishment. All just for show. She's raising the difficulty of completing her own objective.
That does follow. She really is a strange child.
Did you know? In mystery novels, they call things like these epitaph murders plotline murders. Think you can split the possible motives for plotline murders like this into 3 groups.
Ooh. And what are those?
Well, first off, maybe following the epitaph gives rise to misconceptions about evidence and alibis, which might benefit the culprit. Pretending to be dead and mixing yourself in with the victims would fit this pattern, as would committing murders that don't actually follow the epitaph, giving yourself an alibi by getting people to incorrectly guess the order of events.
I see. So perhaps she only made it look as though she was killing them in a ceremonial fashion, following the epitaph, when she was actually guiding their thinking in a manner that benefited her. I do find that intriguing.
However, in our games, the dead are truly down for the count thanks to the red. While she might have confused people in the world of the game board, she can't confuse us up here like that. In other words, the most obvious possible goal for her isn't the real one.
In that case, what are the other 2 possible reasons for carrying out plotline murders?
Another one is coincidence. Crime just happens to resemble the epitaph without anyone in particular trying to make it do so. And the witnesses mistakenly think it's a plotline murder. Humans try to find cause and effect in everything they see. If we think we know something, and if we think we know what something is, then that's how it looks to us.
I see. That's intriguing too. But would that really work? In his child's games, advance notice of the crime is always given before the murders of the first twilight. Also, I believe you've repeatedly found letters and circumstantial evidence that clearly show that the culprit is carrying out epitaph murders.
Yeah, that's right. It isn't coincidence. From the very beginning, Beato's been advancing with the goal of making this look like a series of epitaph murders. We weren't mistaken about that. These are clear plotline murders. So this motive or lack of motive doesn't work either.
In that case, there's only one motive left, right?
The last one is because they want to show someone something. More specifically, fear. By following the epitaph, she gives the others clear notice in advance that the murders will continue. The survivors are in constant fear of the murders, which they're certain will continue.
In other words, this child performed these epitaph murders to make someone feel the fear of death?
Or at least that'd explain things pretty well. The grotesque mutilation of corpses and the dark decorations were all a show to terrify us.
To terrify whom?
Huh? Well, like I said, us.
Here we go.
After hearing that one line Virgilia spoke so casually, my thoughts clouded over once again. Is it really sufficient to use the vague word us? There are many humans in the Ashirmia family. There's the head and the one who holds the rank of his successor, grandfather and Uncle Kraus. There's the relatives who have some pull in the business world. On the other side, you have the young cousins who usually visit at most once a year, and the unfortunate servants who just happen to be on duty that day. Even if the culprit hates all of us, there should be clear differences in how much they hate some of us compared to others. So it should be possible to pick out people among us that the culprit especially wanted to terrorize or have revenge against. If you liken this to a kid eating dessert, isn't the strawberry on top of a shortcake the part you should eat last? No one tells you that you shouldn't eat it first, but our mentality encourages us to save it for later.
I feel that.
In that case, the culprit will want to leave the person they hated most until the end. You know, like that line by my favorite character in this novel I like. Saying about how the worst way to kill someone is murder close to them first, make them as miserable as possible, and only kill the person then. Is that a Higurashi line?
I don't actually recall, I'll be honest. I might have to look it up.
Uh-huh.
I'll let you know, though. Oh my, it must have been quite a terrifying novel. How frightening.
Yeah, he's just stroking his own ego.
Yeah, maybe.
In that case, you could argue that these people who stay alive until the end are the ones Beato hates the most. However, every single time the order of people get killed changes around completely. If you try counting up the people who live until the last twilight every single time, even though they do die in the end, it's you!
Battle, you nerd. Why are you the protagonist? Figure it out, you fucking idiot.
I'm the only one.
Let me first speak with the red. Battler-kun isn't the culprit. Battler-kun didn't kill anyone. This can be said of all games. Nice.
No mention of accomplice.
I guess so.
Then that just makes it even more likely that it's me. It means the sole reason she had for bringing about the epitaph murders was to show them to me. Every time Beato brags that she'll choose whom to kill next with the roulette. However, I'm the only one she never kills. If she does kill me in the end, she leaves me leaves me be until the very last moment. In all of these supposedly random games, there's only this one unchanging constant. She wants revenge against me? So is she performing the epitaph murders to make me feel fear?
That's wrong. Her goal is not to make someone experience fear, and it isn't to have revenge on someone either.
In that case, the epitaph murders really don't mean anything to her? The epitaph's riddle is meaningless and the corresponding epitaph murders are also meaningless? X equals Y equals 0? Even so, she's clearly trying to show these meaningless things to me. What could she want from me that'd be worth the same to her as something meaningless? I don't get it. The more I think about it, the less I understand what she's thinking. Beatrice, the fickle witch who committed a meaningless, worthless string of serial murders. Even the epitaph's riddle, which that witch used as the trigger that could suspend the serial murders, is meaningless and immaterial. And yet she's thrusting this meaningless, immaterial thing in front of my face. What is it that you want from me? Or else, what is it that you're giving me? My idea that Beato had clearly been taking revenge on me has already been denied by Virgilia's red truth. Both X and Y. Both the epitaph murders and the epitaph's riddle hold no meaning for Beatrice. X equals Y equals 0. However, since she's thrusting those things in front of me, they must have some meaning. She showed us the scales representing if you don't solve the epitaph, I'll carry out the epitaph murders. In other words, neither the epitaph murders nor the epitaph's riddle have any significance by themselves. However, it becomes meaningful when she puts both halves on the scale and puts them on display before us. No, before me. In other words, it should be like this. X equals 0, Y equals 0, X plus Y is greater than 0. A scale with meaningless, weightless things on both sides. However, it has weight itself and gives the rest meaning. It's almost like playing, like kids playing rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors is an extremely familiar method of randomly determining a winner and loser. Words.
A wizard? Nice.
Words are hard.
I know.
You sometimes wager some sort of reward on the outcome, but kids often do rock, paper, scissors just to play without betting anything in particular. Unless you bet something, you have nothing to gain or lose except happiness and frustration. In other words, the two sides of the scale, both winning and losing, are immaterial. However, the very act of seeing which way it'll tip is the reason kids play rock, paper, scissors. After all, the kids are enjoying the communication that surrounds the game, and they aren't purely interested in the value of winning or losing. They aren't overly concerned about who wins and who loses. That would mean it doesn't matter to Beta whether the epitaph murders succeed or not. It almost feels like she's just enjoying the process. In the past, I cursed her, deciding she was a heartless witch who kept murdering people for no reason. But right now, I can't imagine that's true.
Thank you. In that case, I'll give you one more line of red. Beato never committed murder for the sake of pleasure.
She didn't do it for pleasure. She didn't do it to make anyone feel fear. Since she has nothing to gain, she doesn't care whether the epitaph murders succeed or fail. It's almost like a random game kids would play. That's not right. It does have meaning. It has meaning for her.
And what is this meaning?
I don't get it. Even though both sides of the scales are material, the scale itself has some weight to it in her eyes. Of course, it isn't meaningless. Some meaning definitely exists. In the previous game, she urged me to remember my sin of 6 years ago. Am I supposed to believe that was meaningless too? No, that definitely isn't the case. I clearly remember the serious gaze Beato had back then. Unfortunately, I didn't have a clue what she meant. When she saw that, she was horribly dejected. That's right. At that time, I'm sure she even went so far as to say that the crime wouldn't have occurred if I hadn't come. It does have meaning. It means something to her. And it's connected to something she wants from me. I laughed softly and poked Beato lightly on the head, then patted her head. Next time you want to send a love letter, I suggest you write, I love you. If you make it too roundabout and confusing, no one's going to be able to figure it out. Still don't have a clue what she's thinking. Even so, I won't stop thinking. I've only just started spinning the chessboard around. I definitely won't give up on this journey in search of your thoughts.
There it is.
Oh boy!
Awesome.
These are getting pretty quick.
Yeah. I'd say we're almost halfway through EP5.
Oh boy, I'm scared.
I'm excited.